guy. Welcome to episode 3 of what I'm calling Rate the Discography of a Band in my favourite order, from favourite album to least favourite album and everything in between, moving around. I was going to do this one the other night, and I went over some of the albums again just to remember whether I thought there was anything I needed to bring to the table for this. And I guess I found a few things, but I'm talking about Marilyn Manson for episode 3. And I know when a lot of people hear that name, they tend to freak out a little bit because, he's a bit wild out there and all that kind of stuff. Pretty, infamous in his own way. I kind of looked at him in a different way. I think more artistically. I think what I liked about Marilyn Manson the most is that when I found him back in around 94, I think it was, 95, I was looking for something different to listen to. And I needed something that was going to be really different, that I would enjoy, that was still kind of almost in the same vein that I was already into. Spreading my wings out a bit, I guess. And the first time I heard Manson was in a record shop in Perth called 78's, and I'd already seen pictures of him, and I thought, I've got to check this guy out, see what he's all about, And this is way before he became big. Around the time, I think, of Sweet Dreams came out in 95. Anyway, I put the headphones on up at 78's to check it out, and it was like the first 20 seconds from the first album, Portrait of an American Family. First 20 seconds of that just blew me away. I went, I don't even need to hear the rest of this album. I know I'm going to like it, Kind of brought an interesting new vibe into my world, which was great, and I think it's what I needed. And I believe that with Manson becoming big in the 90s, I think that and the Kiss reunion were two things that really helped rock stay kind of in a position through the 90s when it was really probably going through its downtime. So like I said before, I know there's not a lot of you people out there that would be into Manson, but check out this if you want, and maybe it'll turn a few of you around, and check out some of his stuff. It's great. Anyway, we're going to start off with my least favourite. Again, just bringing up that these are my favourites. And, there might be people that will disagree or whatever, but that's cool. Everyone's got their own deal. And, list yours down below in the comments if you want. And, we'll go through it and check it out. I'm supporting Little Creatures again. No, I don't get any money from them. And I wouldn't accept it either. I'd take a carton a week off them if they want to do that. I'd do that as a deal. I can't drink any other beer apart from this. It's got me like that. Okay, least favourite Manson album. This was pretty easy, even after listening to a couple of them again. The High End of Low, which came out, I've got notes down here so I don't mess up. High End of Low came out in 2009. Nothing stands out for me on this album. I know I listened to it the other day and there was a couple of little bits and pieces within songs, but as full songs, there was just nothing. I really felt that through this period, he just wasn't quite as shocking as he had been previously. And I think he probably wasn't trying to be on this album. I'm not really sure what he was trying to do with this album, but it didn't work for him commercially. And I don't know, it'd be interesting to see what some of the die-hard fans would rate this at. But if you're a Manson fan and you've got all these, where do you rate this one? I'll put it down there because it's really not even... I'll probably never play that again, unless I had to. Next one in line would be Born Villain, which came out in 2012 after that one. Now, to me, he was trying to get back to some of his roots with this album, but to me it was too little too late. There's a couple of songs that I can't even read it because it's in grey and black and I can't read the song titles on that, but yeah, I guess if you want a Marilyn Manson light or a diet Marilyn Manson, that would probably be, or I can't believe it's not Marilyn Manson. I did steal that from someone. Yeah, it's okay. If you find it for, I think I got it for $2.99, still wrapped. JBs were getting rid of them. If you can find it for $3, man, grab it, you know. Now, this one here, The Pale Emperor, this is very different than anything he's ever really done before. This is very bluesy, slow-paced, moody. I think for what it is, it's not a bad album. And it would be probably a good one for people to start off if they were too afraid to go to the earlier stuff. But Pale Emperor, to me, it kind of blends and it's almost like one continuous song all the way through. I did play it for a little while, but it didn't sustain as much as I was hoping it would. It actually, a lot of people like this because it was very different for him. But yeah, Pale Emperor, that came out in 2015. Is it worth buying? If you're going on a country trip, and I know that you're probably not at the moment, but when you're able to, when you're able to get out there and drive more than 100 Ks, then yeah, buy that, chuck it on. It's a good driving out in the country type album, and that's not what you really expect, or for a lot of us, not what we really want from Manson. But Pale Emperor, hey, it is what it is. Now this album here, I've got to admit, this was going to be a lot lower. And after I listened the other day, I realised there was tracks on here that were definitely worth something. At the time when this album came out, to me it was a real big drop off from what he'd done before. But I think Eat Me, Drink Me has kind of creeped up my list a little bit. I reckon it was probably nearly going to be second last, but it ended up being fourth last. So, you know what, I've made the room darker thinking I'd bring a mood in for Marilyn Manson, and now I've just made it almost impossible for me to read anything. So if you can just bear with me 2 seconds, I'm going to change this up. Okay, I'm back. So, Eat Me, Drink Me, what do we got on here? That'd be right. You know, Putting Holes in Happiness isn't a bad song. I think If I Was Your Vampire, the opening track, it's probably my favourite song on here. Just a car crash away isn't too bad. Yeah, a guy that was kind of starting to slip away, I feel, and it was really starting with this album. And there was quite a gap, I believe, between Eat Me, Drink Me and the one before it. Yeah, 4 years. So he'd had a break. I think he got married and did all that stuff, but yeah, he was trying to keep something shocking here, but not really a lot going on. So yeah, didn't quite work out for him either on a commercial stance. Okay, the next one is Hollywood, and that came out in 2000. This was probably the first album that I never thrashed for months. I got this 2000, as soon as it came out. I pretty much probably would have got it on the day it came out. I think at the same time, the second Orgy album, Vapor Transmission, came out, and that blew me away. And I think that probably got in the way of me giving this a real red hot go. But yeah, I think with this, again, the writing is so small. The Nobodies is a great song. It really is. I do dig that. What else have we got? Shadow of the Valley of Death is pretty cool. And there is a couple of other ones. Death Song, that's pretty rockin'. Yeah, Born Again. I'd say that half of this album is really good, and the other half is Disposable Teens. Just sounds like Beautiful People with a shittier chorus, but not bad. It's not the one to go to first, I don't think. This one here probably just beats Hollywood, and I'm talking about the golden age of grotesque, which came out in, checking my notes, the golden age, 2003. I like this album because he tried some new stuff on here that worked well. Just the way he put some of the songs together, a lot of the lyrically he was expanding a little bit more here, I think. Again, I'm trying to read what we got here. This is a new shit that was quite popular. I think, what else we got here? Kaboom's pretty good. Saint is good. And there is another one on here that I really dig, and I can't find. Is it Paranoia? I actually can't remember now. Mob Scene, which was pretty popular at the time, and that came out. But yeah, Golden Age Grotesque, it's my 5th favourite. So he's got 10 studio albums. This one sits right in the middle for me. Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff, I think. And I'm not talking about my beer, though that is good stuff too. But the last Manson album, Heaven Upside Down, is a ripper. Not every track is good, but the majority of them are, and he really has probably got back to his roots much more on this than what he has with the stuff before. There's some shock in here. Even I sat back and watched a couple of clips and listened to lyrics and went, oh, okay, cool. He's back. So, yeah, this one came out 2017. I believe he is due for a new one soon, so we'll keep our eyes open on that. But this I like a lot. And I think some of the tracks on it that are worth checking out are, I'd say, Satan. Blood Honey is awesome, and Heaven Upside Down is awesome. Tattooed in Reverse is great. Kill For Me, definitely worth checking out. Definitely. Especially if you were like me and was starting to lose faith in what he was doing and finding that the last 4 albums or so were ordinary. This one definitely picked the game right up again. So the next album will be interesting. Okay, going to my third favourite. Now these 3 are very close and could change over time. And in the past, they've been in a different order. And even tonight, when I was sitting down with them, I figured that this was going to be a hard part of the show. But we have to do it. And, okay, my third favourite Marilyn Manson album, again, this was hard, but is Mechanical Animals. This is a killer album. And Coma White, Rock is Dead, New Model 15, great song. Then you got, Dope Show and Don't Like the Drugs, but the Drugs Like Me. Yeah, this album really lifted him right up on a commercial level. The cover was very controversial. And you've actually got the choice of 2 covers. So, but yeah, it was freaking a lot of people out. And it amazes me how people think that rock stars actually have that much influence and power. But, apparently they do. And but this is a killer album. Very different from the one that came before it. This was very spacey, it was David Bowie, it was T-Rex, it was a whole mixture of different vibes going on here. And yeah, definitely worth having in your collection. And the next one, I've always kind of ranked it as my favourite, but when I look back at another album, I kind of realised the other one probably means a little bit more to me than this one coming. And I'm talking about Antichrist Superstar. This is very close to being my favourite. And the other one only just sneaks past it for sentimental reasons only. But this, if you're going to have any Marilyn Manson at all, I think this will be the one you'll need to have, because I think this one really reflects what he, I guess what he was all about in a, how can I put it? He wanted to shock the world, and this album was very shocking. And even the way he recorded this, like he was doing sleep deprivation, taking a lot of different types of drugs, to be able to try and bring out different emotions that he, I guess, wouldn't normally be able to bring out. I mean, there's a lyric from a song on here where it goes, "Each time I make my mother cry, an angel dies and falls from heaven." Like, who else could write a lyric like that and get away with it, I guess? This guy, Marilyn Manson. Cryptochid is the name of that song. And that's just a freaky song. It's a freaky video clip and I love it. Anything that's freaky and shocking and, usually gets big thumbs up from me, because I like people that are willing to take things just that little bit further. And This is what I really like about Manson. He was always willing in the early days to do that. But Irresponsible Hate Anthem, the first song's great. Everyone knows Beautiful People. It's definitely not the best song on the album. Dried Up, Tied and Dead to the World's great. Tourniquet's a great song and video clip. Angel with the Scabbed Wings. Angel with the Scabbed Wings, hard drug face, wanna powder his nose. Antichrist Superstar, 1996, A Minute of Decay, The Reflecting God, and Man That You Fear. What a great song that is too. It's like a ballad. And the video clip, you need to check that out because, yeah. But Antichrist Superstar, 1996, great album, love it. It's always going to be a, in my playlist anyway, but yeah, my car stereo doesn't like it because it's got 99 tracks on here and most of them are obviously ghost tracks, but my stereo, which is a pretty decent stereo, it just freaks out that there's so many songs on it and it doesn't want to play CDs for about 2 days after it. So whether that's got anything to do with Antichrist or not, I have no idea. But you need that in your collection if you are a hard rock heavy metal freak. Okay, my favourite album, the one I first came across back in 1994, 5, whenever it was, around that period. I'm talking about the debut, and I'm talking about Portrait of American Family. Now, this was just a freaky album to listen to. It was so different. There was no holding back with him lyrically. It's kind of the innocence of a young band, but at the same time, there's so much that is not innocent about this album. It's one of those where you got to really listen to it from start to finish and take it all in. My Monkey is freaky. You got, what's it called? Lunchboxes on here, Cake and Sodomy. Cyclops is a great song. My favourite Marilyn Manson album of all time is on here, and it's Wrapped in Plastic. A song that was on the first album was played live on the first tour and then basically forgotten about, but there's just something very haunting about that song that takes me to places that no other band really takes me to, with a lot of his other stuff. But that's it, yeah, my favourite. Marilyn Manson, Portrait of an American Family, came out in 94. Now, he has got EPs and live albums and best ofs and all that kind of stuff as well. And Sweet Dreams was on Smells Like Children EP, which was a bunch of songs that were taken from this and remixed and shuffled around and made to sound very different. There was a few other songs on there, and Sweet Dreams was also on that, and that did pretty well for him, and that broke him into the mainstream. And then The Beautiful People came out on Antichrist Superstar, and that was probably the song that took him up to popularity. That's it. So my favourite, again, starting at number 1, is Portrait of an American Family. Second is Antichrist Superstar. But like only by that much, like it's so close. I probably should have rated them both as my favourite. Then Mechanical Animals, which is killer. Then we got Heaven Upside Down, his last album he did, great. Golden Age of Grotesque, great album. Hollywood, great in parts. Starting to weary off a little bit. And Eat Me, Drink Me, definitely started to go further down a slide. And came back with something a little bit different. It was a bit exciting. Pale Emperor, not too bad. Born Villain, pretty average. And my least favourite again is The High End of Low. And yeah, that's probably a good name for this album, because it's, anyway, thank you. We've got Warrant coming up soon at some point, and there will be a Kiss with makeup discography rating as well. I'm just looking around the room thinking who else I can do. Pantera will be one I'll be doing. Give me more ideas. I've got heaps of stuff. Whatever I don't have, I will listen to. But yeah, just give me what you got and I'll do the best I can. All right. Okay, thank you again. And I'm going to actually start, I think, when we can start being with other people again, I'm going to bring some special guest people come through and talk about metal and talk about hard rock and music and, everything that we love that, gets us going. And I've got a few ideas on people I'm going to call up. If you've got any ideas of anyone you want me to try and get in here, let me know. I can even cross over to some people in America, and we'll get some semi-rock stars on here as well and see what they reckon and have a chat with them about stuff. So yeah, let me know what you want, and I'll keep doing what I'm doing and until I'm too busy not to do it anymore. So have a good one, look after yourself, stay safe, and just keep rocking on. Take care. See ya.